What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel to another WNBA video. We have one game on the slate here for Friday, October 3rd. It is game one of the WNBA Finals. So we're going to break down and analyze that game. We're going to talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points in the spread. And then when it's all said and done, make sure you check right down there into that pinned comment. You'll find a link down there that'll send you over to the Guy Boston Sports website. That's where all of my final plays for this game is going to live for free. Before we dive into this game, let's go ahead and jump over there to the website. We need to recap plays that we put in for game 5 between the Fever and the Aces back on Tuesday. Let's see what we put in for that one and how that ended up going down. And we ended up putting 3 plays in on the night. Man, we get the 3-0 sweep, man. We took the Aces laying 6.5 points, and that was a cash. We took the Fever and the Aces, that game total over 157.5, and that one hit as well. And Chelsea Gray over 5.5 assists. That finishes out our 3-0 night. So a much better semifinals than we had, during our time in the first round here in the WNBA playoffs. Wasn't horrible in the first round, but wasn't anything to write home about. We have a decent semifinals here. Let's have a great finals, man. That is the goal here. So smash that like button down there for me if you can, and hit subscribe if you have not already. Guys, let's dive into this one, man. 8 p.m. tip-off time. The Aces are coming in 2.5-point favorites, 3.5 in some books, man. Kind of depends on where you look right now, but hovering in between those numbers right now. Over under sitting at 159.5. Look, from 14-14 in early August to hosting game one of the finals here, man, just 2 months later, these Aces won 16 straight to close out the season, 17 in a row overall. They're going to come into this one off of that hard-fought win over the Indiana Fever, man, in the semifinals. Meanwhile, the Mercury, they took care of business pretty early with Minnesota, and they bring a 2-day rest advantage into this one over the Aces. And it should be noted, man, Phoenix's path to these finals does seem like the more difficult path when seeing that they beat the Liberty in round one and then the Lynx in round two, both of which they came in as underdogs heading into those series. Both of those teams obviously played in the WNBA finals last year, and were predicted by many to make it back this year, if not win it all. The Lynx and the Liberty were probably the two favorites on the year for the majority of the season, right, to win this whole thing. So both of them knocked out by the Phoenix Mercury. They lost game one of each series, but that was it, man, as they took control after that in each of those. And even before the injury to Fee late in game 3 here in the semifinals, man, the Mercury had a sizable lead in that one. They had all the momentum heading into game 4, and I think they probably would have still took the series even if Fee didn't get hurt. Still a tough way to go down, man, for the end of the year for the Minnesota Lynx, man, after such a great season, man. Still hats off to them, man. Great season for Minnesota. Back to this game, though, man. The Aces, on the other hand, looking at them, despite that huge win streak heading into the postseason, they have had fights on their hands, man, as they won the deciding game 3 in round one over the Storm by just 1 point. And then the Fever, who were already bit in a major way by the injury bug, they then lost Kelsey Mitchell to a leg injury. Aaliyah Boston fouled out, but they still took it to overtime in Game 5 with these Aces, right? But Vegas eventually did pull away and get the dub. End of the day, man, that's all that matters, right? They have home court advantage here in this best of 7 series here in the WNBA Finals, the first ever best of 7 series here in the WNBA Finals. And so far this year, man, they've had little trouble with this Mercury team. 3 wins and 4 head-to-heads. And then that one game that they lost against the Mercury, that was way back in June. Guess who was missing for the Aces? MVP, Asia Wilson. So it's been 3 straight wins and covers after that loss. 2 of which winning outright as dogs, and also the last 2 just, going down in mid and late August. So recent samples of this matchup as well, and both teams were at full strength for those. I do think that's key here, man. While the Mercury have looked more impressive in their road to get here to the finals, and while they do have the rest advantage in this one, Vegas had the matchup advantage over the course of the season, and it really boils down to one player, and that's Asia Wilson. Phoenix has struggled to contain her as she's averaged 25 points per game this year against them on 45% shooting from the field. And then also through these playoffs, man, the Aces have seen Jackie Young really step up in that number 2 role, 54% shooting from the field, 20 points per game. Chelsea Gray has had some Chelsea Gray moments so far through this playoff run as well. So all in all, I do like the Aces here in game 1. And that's not to take anything away from the Mercury, man, because I think this is going to be a very tight series. And I also think that they could steal a game in Vegas as well. I just don't think that's going to happen here in game 1, man. Now, the Mercury are hot, right? Sablé is a matchup nightmare. AT is a triple-double threat anytime she steps on the court. And Clock Copper's still that explosive scorer that she's always been, man. And we've seen that more and more as she's worked her way back from injury. But, man, I can't bet against Vegas right now. Not with how hot both Wilson and Young have been for these Aces. I'm going to lean with Vegas here for game 1. For the total, the number is low, and most will be inclined to look at the under, I think, with each of these defenses that these two bring to the table. But the Aces have gone over in their last two. The Mercury themselves have gone over in their last three. Two of the three head to head went under this season between these two, but two of those three went up and over this specific number, that 159.5. With only their last meeting going under due to the Aces holding Phoenix to what was their lowest scoring output of the season at just 61 points. Now, Phoenix is too hot for me right now to see that happening again, right? And I don't think Vegas is stifled here at home. They've gone 21-6 on the year at home, averaged the third most points per game at home on the season as well. I just think this number is probably a little bit too low, man, and we see these two get just up and over this line here in game one. So I'm going to be leaning over for this one as well. That is going to wrap us up here for game one, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you found the content helpful and useful. And if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out. Hit subscribe if you have not already. And that is going to do it, man. Hope you guys all cash out and have yourselves a great game one here on Friday night. And I'll see you back for game two in the next one.